Hello and welcome to my channel on human design. Today I want to talk about the nature of resistance. It's something that we often talk about in the maturing process of going through our human design experiment. So the standard answer to what is resistance, how do you know it's there? The generators and manifesting generators will feel frustrated. The manifestors will be angry, the projectors will be bitter because they're not being recognized, and the reflectors will be jumping from one destination to another, being disappointed at each time. So let's go into the nature of it generally. Let us begin by seeing what actually happens when we first get into human design. We're coming in from a particular mode. We're living in a particular way. It's a kind of numbness that builds up as the conditioning gets heavier and heavier. All those white centers, we're reacting against this and reacting against that and plodding on, and life is heavy. It takes energy to push and to try to live in that kind of mode. Resistance is something that is regarded as normal. It's normal to have to push against things in your life. That's what we've been brought up to believe. The human design system, in giving us the constancy that's in us through the chart, what channels do you have? What are the anchors that you live by? What are the things that are always going to be within you? You have a way then of witnessing your life to see if you are living that or not. So there is a reference point, very important to understand. The resistance at that point then becomes something that is a little bit more background, because you're also seeing, look, if this is me, how am I living it? And what decisions am I making? Because you do have a chance to change it by making correct decisions based on your strategy and authority. So it then becomes a test. Like, my energy doesn't want to go that way, but, it'd be a good thing for me financially or whatever the reason may be. And then you back off and you go, well, my energy doesn't want to do that, so I'm not going to do it. Not at this time. You begin to back off from the things you would go hurtling into before. So more awareness, and the life begins to change because you're not heading into resistance blindly anymore. You have something that you can rely on that will always be there. So resistance itself begins to change in your life. You'll encounter it in other ways. You'll encounter it in the ways when you're with people and you begin to say, well, look, I'm not going to go against my response if you're a generator, even if they want me to. There can be, in the early times, as a kind of cognitive dissonance where, like, you find yourself saying something that's true for you, but you've never said that before. And the other person or the other people, they're looking at you like, what's wrong with you? What's happened to you? And yet you're doing your best. You're staying online and it feels good. And bit by bit, they either accept you being you or they don't. And if they don't, and you're with them, it's always going to be resistant. So you're not with them so much. And there is more time and more time until you're hardly in touch with them at all. You begin to gravitate to new people, to people who are more interested in living a life that is their own life. Resistance is also at that level understood by what you see in yourself when you're being taken over by the not self. For example, if you're a projector and you're making a lot of noise because you want people to recognize you through the wisdom or the appropriateness of what you're saying, and they're not listening, and you're making more noise and you're getting more bitter and they don't want to deal with you anymore, that's resistance. When you try just being there, knowing what it is that you know, waiting for an opening. If the opening doesn't come from those people, they're the wrong people for you. If the opening does come and you're in the right timing to deliver it, because they've said, well, what do you think? Then it's perfect. You know, it could be really perfect. You know, delivery of something that really helps people when they ask you, I mean, they're going to ask you again and again and again, even if they didn't before. So it's also part of the resistance for you to look at in terms of really being open to change, you know, really being open to change. Can you step up into that position where they will ask you without making a big deal out of it? And then you move into other forms of resistance. It's more internal. The reactions of the past are less intense and less often. There is more patience because you understand that the deconditioning process is going to take years. It's not something you can understand and suddenly go out there and be it and drop everything. It's not possible. It's not possible biologically. It's not possible because there's so much more that has to go on inside. But you're on the journey. So to move along a path of less resistance, there's a certain humility that is necessary, where you find yourself witnessing yourself overreacting and catching yourself before it goes too far. You know, go, oh, there I go again. There I go again. I agreed to do something my energy wasn't up for. Well, we'll have to ride this one out, but next time. And bit by it, you don't get involved with the things that are going to drain your energy. You know, energy is very important for those non-sacrals. So projectors, to really kind of treat your energy as if it was currency, as if it was money, you know, to think about where you invest it, where you save it, where you budget it, where you can grow it in different ways through health and other ways, and basically spending time on your own away from a lot of the sacral energy and just chilling, enjoying the space and enjoying the life in the way that a projector should. You know, so think about resistance in those terms. Where am I exercising too much energy? Where am I continually being drained? Where is my energy being leaked from? You know, to see those gates in the open centers where they're going to be taking your energy. And bit by bit, you begin to witness it and it begins to drop away. You can't drop everything away all at once. Patience is needed. Patience with yourself, patience with other people, knowing that you're all going for a long trek. And I can tell you the trek never ends. But it does become less resistant. It does become more interesting, but it never ends. There is always this moving onward. So again, if you want to look at resistance from another way, look at it in terms of the whole life. You know, step back and see the whole life. Are you living the life that is fulfilling for you in your different types, in your different ways? Is it fulfilling? Is it great to be you? Can you be you? Are you making a lot of correct decisions and it's leading to more richness, more beauty, more entertainment, more relaxedness, or whatever is right for you with your design and your type? You should be moving more towards the signature, more towards satisfaction as a generator, peace as a manifester, success as a projector, success in being seen, and success for the people that listen to you. And for a reflector, this sense of surprise, because really they have a potential more than all of us to really get to the mystical side of what it is to be incarnated. So there's always going to be this movement, and there's always going to be certain resistance in certain ways. The programming of the mind when we were younger, up until about 7, we can't, you know, really get away from that. There's always going to be something that we're looking at or we're transferring to at a mental level. So at that point, it's always to come back to the body, always to come back to the body. The body is a decision maker, never the mind, never our own mind. It's always got to be from the body. And in that way, the more you do that, the more you operate from that way, it's kind of easy. It's much easier than trying to make a decision from the mind. Should I, shouldn't I? You know, if the sacral goes, then away I go. You know, I don't know where it's going, and I don't need to know. I trust my sacral. It's never let me down. It's very interesting roads it's taken me down. You know, we cannot know what decision we're going to make until the decision-making time comes. And understanding that reduces a lot of resistance, because it's time when it's time and it's not when it's not. Okay, I hope you enjoyed my my little talk there on resistance, and I hope it was helpful. And if it was, please like, share, and subscribe. And I will be back again very soon with something completely different. Bye-bye for now.